Are you scared? If not, you should be. We're about to delve into 13 things the government hides from every person. This journey will take us through hidden truths and veiled secrets, from the suppression of alternative energy technologies to the clandestine world of international conflicts and potential repercussions. The world might not be as perfect as it seems, and it's time we pull back the curtain, so stay tuned if you dare to uncover the truth. First on our list, the suppression of alternative energy technologies. Imagine a world where we harness the power of the sun, the wind, and water more efficiently, but the government seems determined to keep us tethered to age-old fossil fuels. Why? Because control over energy is control over us. It's a chess game, with powerful energy corporations as the major players. They thrive on our dependence on fossil fuels, and the government plays along, suppressing advancements that could break these chains. This control over energy resources is a powerful tool in the government's hands. So while we dream of a greener, cleaner future, the puppeteers pull the strings, maintaining their stranglehold on power and profit. Moving on to number 2, secret military bases and operations. Hidden far from prying eyes, these clandestine establishments are shrouded in mystery. Their purpose and activities known only to a select few. Why such secrecy, you might ask? The reasons are manifold. Primarily, it's to maintain a strategic advantage, to keep potential threats in the dark about our capabilities and intentions. But it's also about control. Control over information, control over narratives. By keeping us uninformed, the powers that be can shape our understanding of military activities, our perceptions of threats and security. But this secrecy comes at a cost to our civil liberties. The unknown can be a frightening thing, especially when it comes to military activities. Next up, government surveillance of credit card and cryptocurrency transactions. In the digital age, our financial activities are far from private. Every swipe of your card, every Bitcoin transfer is a blip on their radar. The government, in the name of national security and crime prevention, keeps tabs on these transactions. This surveillance isn't just about tracking illegal activities, it's about monitoring spending habits, controlling economic activities, and maintaining authority over financial systems. When you buy that extra pack of batteries or make a donation to a cause, you're leaving a digital footprint. This not only enhances governmental power, but also influences our economic freedom. Remember, every transaction you make, they're watching. We're at number 4, corporate influence on government policies. Now consider this. Corporations, with their deep pockets, often have an outsized influence on government decisions. They do this through lobbying and campaign contributions, effectively buying influence. But what does this mean for us? Well, it undermines the very essence of democracy. Instead of the will of the people, it's the will of the corporations that often prevails. This collusion between big businesses and the government shifts the balance of power, prioritizing corporate interests over public welfare. It's a sobering thought, isn't it? The control over economic policies isn't always in the hands of those elected to represent us. Remember, it's not always the people who have the power. Halfway through our list, the government's stockpiling of essential resources. Imagine a vast warehouse, shelves stacked high with food, water, medicine, everything necessary for survival. It's a comforting thought, right? Until you realize the implications of this hoarding. In times of emergency, these stockpiles become the lifeblood of a nation. But who controls the flow? The government, that's who. They decide who gets what and when. Picture a shortage, a rationing system, a populace dependent on the government's goodwill. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of our systems, our reliance on those who've stockpiled these resources. It begs the question, in times of crisis, who really has control over essential resources? At number 6, the government's emergency response capabilities. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That the very government we trust to protect us in times of crisis might not be as prepared as we think. This isn't about spreading fear, but unveiling a harsh reality. The government, in a bid to maintain public confidence and control, often conceals deficiencies in its emergency response strategies. This not only undermines public safety, but also hinders our preparedness. We're left in the dark, reliant on a system that might falter when we need it most. This secrecy breeds dependence on government intervention during crises, but it begs the question, in an emergency, can we really rely on the government? Moving on to number 7, military drills and exercises in civilian areas. Imagine a quiet afternoon disrupted by the thunderous echo of military choppers, tanks rolling down the street, soldiers marching in formation. Yes, these are not scenes from a dystopian movie, but real-life military drills and exercises conducted in our neighborhoods. The official line? They're to ensure our armed forces are ready to respond at a moment's notice. But at what cost? These drills often stir fear, disrupt daily life, and raise valid questions about civil liberties. Are we trading our peace and privacy for a sense of security? Or is there a more sinister reason behind these drills that's shrouded in secrecy? Is it really for our protection or something more sinister? At number 8, economic instability and potential market crashes. Now, the government tends to paint a pretty picture of the economy, boasting about growth and prosperity. But what lies beneath this veneer of stability? The truth is, economic vulnerabilities are often concealed to maintain public confidence. Think about it. If we knew the extent of our economic frailties, panic could ensue, leading to market crashes and financial chaos. But how long can this facade of economic stability last? And what happens when the cracks start to show? The consequences could be catastrophic. So while you're enjoying today's economic sunshine, remember, the storm clouds could be gathering. The economy might seem stable, but how fragile is it really? We're at number 9, infrastructure vulnerabilities to cyber attacks. It's a chilling truth that our modern world is more susceptible to cyber attacks than we'd like to think. Government agencies often downplay these threats, but the reality is that our critical infrastructure, from power grids to water treatment facilities, is not invincible. With the rise of sophisticated hacking tools and techniques, these systems are increasingly at risk. While the government may argue they're prioritizing security measures, this downplaying can also serve to expand surveillance capabilities and centralize control. It's a stark reminder that in our digitized world, security threats aren't always tangible or visible. In the digital age, are we really as secure as we think? Moving on to number 10, weather modification experiments and programs. Imagine the power at the fingertips of those who can control the very weather we experience. It sounds like science fiction, but governments around the world, including the US, have been dabbling in weather modification for decades. Through techniques like cloud seeding, they can potentially influence rainfall, snowfall, and even hurricanes. Now consider the implications. Control over atmospheric conditions could drastically affect agricultural outcomes, tipping the scales in favor of certain regions or countries. It could also serve as a tool in geopolitical dynamics, subtly altering climates to impact economies and societies. With such a formidable tool, the question arises, can we really trust the weather anymore? At number 11, the impact of electromagnetic pulse, EMP weapons. Picture a world where your mobile phone, your car, even your refrigerator all suddenly stop working. That's the reality we could face in the wake of an EMP attack. These weapons, capable of disabling electronics in a wide radius, pose a significant threat to our modern way of life. However, the full extent of their potential devastation remains under wraps by those in power. The concealment of this threat is another example of the government maintaining strategic advantage and national security. But at what cost to us, the citizens? In a world reliant on electronics, how devastating could an EMP attack be? Well, we're at number 12, international conflicts and potential repercussions. What we know about global conflicts is often shaped by the government's narrative. They control the information flow, creating a picture that suits their agenda. But what about the untold stories? The shadowy, behind-the-scenes deals, the unseen power dynamics that could spark wars, or the potential fallout from strained international relations. The government's narrative manipulation isn't just about shaping public opinion, it's about projecting power, maintaining geopolitical influence, and consolidating authority in international affairs. It's a high-stakes game of chess on a global scale, and in this game, information is power. So we have to ask ourselves in the global stage, who's really pulling the strings? And finally, at number 13, surveillance and privacy infringements. It's no secret that governments worldwide have ramped up their surveillance efforts, often under the guise of national security. This control over personal data is a powerful tool, enabling governments to monitor dissent, suppress opposition, and shape public opinion. The implications are vast and frightening. Civil liberties are at stake as personal privacy dwindles. Our conversations, our movements, our transactions, our very lives are under scrutiny. It's a chilling reality and one that we must confront. We must ask ourselves, in this climate of increased surveillance, can our freedom survive? In an age of surveillance, can we ever truly be free? We've uncovered some chilling secrets today. From the suppression of alternative energy technologies to surveillance of our everyday transactions, the government's hidden activities are vast and far-reaching. We've delved into the stockpiling of resources, the potential for EMP attacks, and even weather modification programs. These realities may be daunting, but remember, knowledge is power. Stay informed, stay prepared, and face these challenges head on. That's our best defense. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one.